Sorry, I'm only joking. Hello. Okay, next tutorial. Today I'm meant to be dressed up as Bob from Beetlejuice 2, or otherwise known as Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I actually went to see this movie on opening night with my partner Graham and we absolutely loved it, but one character stood out above the rest. Bob! Hashtag justice for Bob. I really do love this character. So I thought it'd be fun to try to attempt to translate his character into a makeup as best I could, so I hope this is okay. And yeah, fluffies, so if you'd like to learn how to recreate this makeup for yourself, stay tuned.
Okie dokie, so the first step is going to be to pop on a plain latex bald cap. Not that a bald cap can contain this mighty fluffiness, but I'm going to work on it. In fact, I might have to just pre-tame it just to... There we go. So as always, just to save a little bit of time up in this video, I will of course be popping a link on the screen up there. That link will take you to a video that I did in the super past. I really should do another one at some point. But in that video, I teach you how to apply a latex bald cap. I will be going around my ears with the bald cap, there's no need to cover them. So I'm just going to go do all that and we'll go from there. Okie dokie, so when you're done, it will look something like this. Nice and bald. So as you can see, I also went over the edge of my bald cap with about 3 more layers of liquid latex just to really get rid of that seam. So now I want to talk to you all about the prosthetic that I'm using. So you don't necessarily need to use a prosthetic for this. The only reason I'm doing it is because I really want like a high cheekbone effect. Plus it'll really help sell the eyes on the final step of this makeup, I think. So if you did want to go down that route, I'm using a foam latex prosthetic that I got from mostlydead.com. I'll flash their link on the screen there. There are a lot of different prosthetics to choose from, but the one I went with is called Fresh Zombie. It's one of the ones by Effects Faces. So as you can see, the one I've chose has these gorgeous cheekbones and a really nice sunken brow, plus it has some gorgeous temples on it as well. And it has the added bonus that it doesn't cover the nose because I want to paint a kind of a hollowed effect there. So this is it close up. Once again, they have gorgeous edges. It's lovely. I mean, lovely, you know what I mean. It's pretty fabulous. And to stick foam latex prosthetics down, I like to use a product called Pro Stick. I like to take a paper-based cotton bud, dip that in the Pro Stick, and then apply that to the middle of the prosthetic, then the corresponding area on my face, let it go a bit tacky, and then start sticking that down and lining things up. Then when that's dry, we can apply another coat to our face, just going away, sticking it down as we go. That way we can line everything up so there's no air bubbles, and eventually we'll get to the very end of the prosthetic so we can press it down. So then, when everything is nice and stuck down, we can take another paper-based cotton bud, dip that in some more Pro Stick and start blending out these edges. So then, once everything is blended off, we can start colouring in our foundation. So the colour that I'm going to be using is a Superstar face paint. This one is rather oddly named Henry Junior Blue or Colour 100. It's the palest blue I could find. Now Bob's base colour in the film does tend to fluctuate a bit. I won't say too much just in case, you know, spoilers. But I am going with a light blue. It all really depends on the lighting. So I'm going to take my light blue face paint and a foundation brush and I'm going to apply that all over my face, the prosthetic, my ears and my bald cap, but not my neck. I do also find for the larger areas a kabuki brush is really fabulous. You can just kind of dab it in place. Yeah. Okie dokie, nice and blue. So then I'm going to take another face paint by Superstar. This one is in black. And I'm going to apply that just in the cheekbone hollows and the temple area. And then I'm just going to blend that out. It's not going to be particularly harsh. I just want to really emphasize these gorgeous cheekbones. So I'm just going to apply that and then blend the colour away. I'm also just going to put a few extra lines just in the areas where there are a few divots, just to make everything look a lot more hollow and three-dimensional. Okie dokie, it just makes everything stand out a little bit more, I think. So then I'm going to take the same black watercolour from before and I'm going to colour in my eyes. It doesn't have to be too neat at this point because we're going to blend it out afterwards. But what I will say is, and this is going to kind of contradict the prosthetic a little bit, but we want to try and change the eye shape a little bit because we don't want this to be angry. Because Bob, bless him, is not a happy character and we kind of know why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour the entire eye area in the black face paint, but I'm also going to colour this area here and then graduate the colour downwards so the shape is basically like this. I can then take a medium fluffy brush, dip that in some water and then start gradually manipulating this colour so it blends out. Okay, so super sad. He does look so sad. Oh, bless him. Oh, I realise that's me. That's a weird thing to say. Anywho, so next we can take the same black face paint from before and a super sharp angle brush, and I'm going to do a few detail lines around the eyes because Bob has a lot of worry lines, bless him. Then continuing with the same black face paint and angle brush, I'm going to do some forehead wrinkles. So usually I will do these quite light, but this character isn't very subtle, so I'm going to be doing them quite dark. So the plan is just to go squiggly, 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 technical term, squiggly, but go 3 or 4 lines up and we'll just blend the edges out, leaving the middle part thicker. Then before I do anything else, I'm going to work on the nose area. So I need to paint Bob's nostrils on. They're a little bit different from what I would usually paint because they're very elongated. So think really stretched out teardrop shapes with a line going down the middle. And I'm going to paint that with the same black face paint from before. Then next, just to make the illusion work a little bit better and to hide my real nose, I'm going to take an eyeshadow. This one is by Bulletproof in black. And I'm just going to use a fluffy brush to go around the nostril shape and then blend that colour away. So yeah, hopefully it makes the nose look a little bit more like it's not there. So then we're going to really hammer home this sad expression by doing some really large nasal labial folds. So I'm going to do that in exactly the same way that I did the forehead wrinkles, which is to take the angle brush and the black face paint and go around the folds here, but then go over the prosthetic and then trail it down because we really want the mouth to look really sad. We then take a new angle brush, dip that in some water and then manipulate that black watercolour away. And just before I finish blending everything out, I'm also, whilst I'm in the area, going to make my mouth shape super sad. Because as you can see, I've made the nasal labial folds quite a bit further apart than usual. That's because we're going to have a much longer mouth. So I'm going to take the same colour again, and I'm going to paint a really thin line on my lips, then taper the edge of my mouth outwards and down. And just to really sell that lip shape, I'm going to take the eyeshadow from before, the Bulletproof by Sugarpill, and I'm just going to shade underneath, leaving about 1 centimetre below the bottom lip. So then next I'm going to take a really small brush and flip it upside down so I've got the underside, and I'm going to dip that in the black watercolour, and I'm going to apply that in about probably 6 maybe little dots going like this all the way along the top and bottom of my mouth, and that will be a guide for when I add the stitches at the end. So then I can take my trusty black hairspray and I'm going to use this to add a kind of spackling effect just really to the bald cap area. Maybe going around the ears as well, kind of a half halo effect. So the way I do this is I take my hairspray and hold the nozzle down ever so slightly, holding at an arm's distance, and I pass over the area that I want to spackle. So make sure to do this in a well ventilated area if you are going to do this. I myself am going to do it outside off camera, and obviously make sure to breathe in first before you spray. You do not want to be breathing in hairspray. So I'm going to go do that and we'll go from there. Okie dokie, so there we are. So the next step is to apply the fake hair. So I made this ahead of time, but what we have here is a mini wig. So what I did was I took some black crepe hair, I applied some steam to it so that it went straight, I tied 2 little bits of string in the middle, and I popped this down onto a table, combed it out, cut it around and sprayed it with hairspray. And then I did the same again on the other side, except this time just before it dried I flipped it over and then curled it under with my hands. So the plan is to apply a small amount of spirit gum to the underside of my mini wig, and I'm going to pop that down just about there. So yeah, hair, sort of. I'm then going to take the same angle brush before with a tiny bit of the black face paint on it, and I'm going to score each of these circles on the top lip going up and on the bottom lip going down. The difference is the top lip will be scored towards the nose, the bottom ones will be scored towards the very tip of my chin. So then before I do the next step, I want to talk about the eyes. So you could use contact lenses for this, but you all know that I absolutely love to make things look extra theatrical. So for that reason, I'm going to be using these. So these are just 2 halves of a polystyrene ball that I cut in half. I also hollowed them out and poked a hole in the middle just so I could see through them. I also went around the edge of them and in the middle with a black face paint, just to make them really pop out. So the plan is, at the end, I'm going to stick them down by applying a small amount of spirit gum just to my fake brow bone and just to my fake cheekbones, and stick them down in 2 places. The reason why I'm talking about them now is because the next step means I won't be able to talk, which again is completely optional, but that is to do the mouth stitches. Now you could paint these on, I just think it's going to look a lot more 3D if they're stuck down. So I'm going to be using some black cord. I'm going to cut it into small strips and stick them down again with spirit gum to every single one of these circles, and then I can just stick it down on each one. So I'm going to switch to a voiceover now because talking with these stuck down might be a little bit tricky.
Okie dokie, so when you're done, it'll look something like this. So for the final step, I'm going to paint my neck. So I'm going to take the same blue face paint from before, the same one as my foundation, and I'm going to paint a stripe going down the middle. I'm then going to take the same black face paint from before and I'm going to paint 2 more stripes either side of the blue one. Hopefully this will make the illusion that my neck is thinner in order to make my head appear smaller. So there we are. So then, all that's left for me to do is to pop on my costume, pop in my fake eyes, and we'll see what everything looks like. And there we go! That's my look, officially complete. So I finished the look off by popping on those 2 fake eyes as I mentioned before. I popped on an oversized yellow jacket which I padded the shoulders with to make my head appear smaller. I also popped on a white shirt with a tie, and I finished it all off with a handmade "My Name is Bob" label. And there we have it, our fabulous Bob! Yay! So yeah, fluffies, that's my makeup tutorial. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did like it, please make sure to, you know, the usual, like, comment, subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, so until next time, bye fluffies!